trainer for Storm the Court, as we were just saying, and here comes John. Inherited the mantle of Kentucky Derby favorite with the juvenile win. So he's getting a little rest up for...
He got a few weeks off since the Breeders Cup of jogging, pretty much, and never taken him out of training. And he's been galloping out for a good 3 weeks or so, and he's going to have his first breeze back tomorrow.
Oh wow, fantastic. You're going to beat that rain.
Yeah, we got to beat the raid, and then we'll just kind of get into a process and see if I can, when he's ready to run, then I'll look for a spot. I mean, if it's in February, that'd be ideal. If it's in March, you know, in the perfect world, getting 2 races into him would be good for me.
The Breeders Cup Juvenile winners, there's only been a couple that have won the Derby afterwards.
Most
notably, Street Sense.
Street Sense, yeah.
Yeah, and two really nice horses.
Absolutely.
Is there any rhyme or reason that you can think of why that would be, or it's just the way
I think a lot of the horses haven't matured yet, and you're catching a very immature volume of horses in, say, October, November versus, some good horses maybe were trying to get ready, come up with shins or whatever.
Right.
Had to put them on hold. So you're just catching a more mature base 3-year-old than you are as a 2-year-old.
I'm afraid.
I think that's the biggest reason.
Well, Peter, thanks a lot. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
We'll be pulling for you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Nehf, thoroughbred trainer in Southern California, with my colleague, fellow trainer, Eddie Truman, and we're going to discuss another Kentucky Derby prospect for 2020. This time, Storm the Court, trained by Peter Urton. And Eddie, we just looked at his races, and you made quite an observation there regarding the equipment. And
with the blinkers on for the Breeders' Cup.
yes.
And so, such a good move.
But they were not using blinkers for his maiden race, which he won, and the second race in which he lost the rider, and the third race, which he finished third in.
Yes, a bad third.
A bad third, yeah, that was.
And then they put blinkers on and sent him out of there. I don't know if they were planning to put him on the lead, but they wanted him naturally with a big field, and especially 2-year-olds. You're definitely at an advantage getting out of there running, get a good position. And
Why do you say especially with 2-year-olds?
Well, because they're inexperienced and they could get the dirt. And the way the track was playing, it wasn't playing to... There were some horses that come from off of it that day, but most of the meet and most of that day were horses laying close. Yeah. Better be up there. And especially 2-year-olds, they get back there, they get a little discouraged, they get some dirt in their face, and it's hard for them to really dig in, especially finish on that track. So
you like the move with the blinkers?
Absolutely, and I like the idea that he started him without blinkers. So many people just put blinkers on right away as a rule of thumb. And I think it's better that you start him without blinkers, because it gives them a chance to look around, see things, get more experience, and really know about things instead of being right on right away. And then if you need them later on, which, hey, a lot of horses, it can really change. Most horses, I don't think it makes too much difference, but some horses do a big turnaround. Whether that was what really moved him up or not, who's to say? I'm sure Peter knows.
And when you say it changes the horse, in what respect? It
the
changes
idea
their
to
behavior.
focus, sure, to focus and pay attention more, sure.
I've heard some horsemen say that blinkers will cause a horse to run a little bit scared, and therefore run a little sharper at the start. Do you subscribe to that?
No, not really. I don't think they're scared at all. I think it just focuses them more instead of looking around,
I noticed with our horse, Big Hoof Dynamite, we ran him twice without blinkers. And horses would come up on either side of him in the stretch, and you'd see his head come up. I saw that happen in both the first two races, and I thought, well, maybe blinkers will keep him focused on what's up ahead and not behind him. And then and he ran really well in the third race, and then his fourth start with the blinkers, he ran a really nice second. So yeah, it certainly wasn't a question of making him afraid. He's not afraid of anything anyway. But so but it was a dramatic difference in Storm the Court from that third place finish, which the winner beat him 8-10 lengths.
Yeah.
And
but as we know, you've done an interview with Peter, but you didn't delve into the reason for his extraordinary improvement. As we know, there's so many factors. I mean, he could have just been coming around. That's first time around 2 turns.
When horsemen say around 2 turns, they mean a horse is running a mile or more. Horse going around 1 turn means they're going 6-7 furlongs, less than a mile. Here's Google's satellite image of Santa Anita Racetrack. At the end of the chute here, that's 7 furlongs around to the finish line. Then you've got 6.5 furlongs, 6 furlongs, and then on around the first turn to the finish line. So only 1 turn. But in a mile, you start at the finish line and finish at the finish line. So you go around the first turn and around the second turn. So that's 2 turns, a mile or more.
So many factors. I mean, he could have just been coming around. That's first time around 2 turns. And that maybe he wanted to lay closer. And so, I mean, there's so many factors that it's hard to say that one thing. I think Peter knows. Yeah. He knows the one thing. But just as an observer, who knows? You could speculate.
Let me ask you about jockeys. Flavien Prat rode this horse in all of his. He rode the race where
he
got
fell.
dumped. Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah, so he rode all his races so far. He also rode 1,000 Words. And it's very likely that Flavien and Derek Lawson, his agent, are going to be faced with a choice between those 2 horses. Now, how much do you think Flavien's skills contributed to Storm the Court's success? Do you think you could put any good jockey on and have gotten the same performance from this horse?
Hey, he's on top of the game, and if you run that race with some other rider, there's other riders that maybe could, but hey, Flavien rode a good race, kept him going. I mean, he's just
split-second decision to go with that lead. He got him out of there, but
got him in the clear.
But then he committed to the whole thing.
Sure. No, you can't go wrong with him the way he's doing.
Okay, I'll certainly agree with that. But if it comes time for the Kentucky Derby or even one of the preps where that rider is faced with a choice between 2 horses, if he decides to go with the other horse, is Peter Eurton at a significant disadvantage?
Well, with a horse like this, I mean, he's got his choice. He's got Rosario. He's got his choice of all the top riders. Yeah. To me, those are the 2 riders. The Ortiz brothers, they'll go with some New York horses, and Rosario might too, but those are the go-to guys. If I would, could dream about even thinking about something like that, with those 2 riders would be my riders to go to.
Now, last year, Flavien did not have quite the prestige that he has now.
Yeah.
He's certainly the same rider now that he was a year ago.
Sure.
But without Flavien on Country House, that horse wouldn't have been anywhere near the front of the Derby pack.
I agree.
In position to get a win. But that's not the
He changed
case.
the horse.
Yeah.
He changed that horse.
But that's not the case with Storm the Court. Storm the Court's still going to be a winner without Flavian. Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't know. He rode a good race.
Uh-huh.
So depends on who rode him. You know. If Rosario rode him, I'd say yeah, he'd be the winner without. But if somebody else, I don't know. But having said that, I'm not taking away from him because I think he is. What I love is making these big improvements.
Yeah.
He's making these big jumps forward. And that horse, it looked like the other horse was getting to him and they said, oh, I've been a little further. No. They galloped out. He's still ahead of the other horse. That horse, when he's hooked, he just digs in.
He digs in.
Yeah.
And 1,000 words.
Oh, same thing.
Same thing.
Amen. I mean, those are two, it would be, that'd be a wonderful decision to have to make, that's for sure.
Which one of those two horses you got to ride?
You got a chance of riding those two.
And there's Flavian in that position.
Yeah. So he's a good shot.
Yeah. I like the way Peter has given this horse a nice break.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's now Peter said he's not taking him out of training.
Mm-hmm.
He's just keeping him at the track, just light work, jogging, so on. What are your thoughts on that as a horseman? That going that route as opposed to maybe giving him 2 or 3 weeks on green grass and sunshine out at the farm.
Yeah, they're racehorses, they're athletes. I'd definitely keep them in.
Yeah.
Charlie Whittingham never turned his horses out. If they turned out, they probably,
they
had to be.
They had to be turned out.
Because if he had horses he'd back off on, he'd keep them in the barn for 6 months,
Really?
Riding them around, tacking them around, keeping that movement, keeping the carrot with them. Yeah. So that green grass and blue skies, that's all, I think, it sounds nice, but the reality is not there. They're really, and then you have more conditioning. Because when horses, as you know, are out, how often do you go out there and you see them galloping around the field?
Oh, no.
They're walking around, standing, laying down, maybe they're grazing. That's about, they get excited every once in a while, run a little bit, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what's his breeding?
Oh, yeah, let's take a quick look at his pedigree here. Oh, before we leave this page, comparing him once again to 1,000 Words. 1,000 Words was a $1 million yearling purchase. February, Fasig-Tipton, Kentucky, the mixed sale. So as an early yearling, he sold for $5,000.
When is that sale this year?
It was February last year.
So we should go back, right? 5,000, we can get another Derby favorite?
Yeah. No problem.
Elizabeth, could you get the tickets ready?
Okay, no problem.
But then he sold as a 2-year-old.
Yeah, a 2-year-old training and sale.
At Ocala for $60,000.
Yeah.
It's looking like another strong year for California in the Derby contention. We've had, since you mentioned California Chrome, we had I'll Have Another, California Chrome, Nyquist, American Pharoah, Justify.
Yeah.
There's 5 in the last 7-8 years.
Right.
And with 2 of the top contenders
Sure, definitely.
already this year, it looks like it's going to be another tough one. For all the bloody noses we've been getting at Santa Anita,
Hey,
still
you better believe it.
the top horses are here.
And then the horse that finished second to him in the Breeders' Cup and to 1,000 Words the other day. Yeah, that horse is serious too.
Yeah.
So,
But
he's from out here.
Well, he's from out here, but he's Golden Gate.
Yeah.
But he's run
California, right?
What do you think we're going to see in the Santa Anita Derby? Will these 2 horses storm the court and 3? Anodor,
I'm sure he'll
storm the court and 1,000 Words.
Yeah.
Are they going to
I
dodge
think-
each other or what?
I think that Anadora would. It'll be interesting to see what route he takes.
Because he needs
I
the
would
points.
think- yeah, he needs the points. So I would say that he would probably stay here because Baffert is definitely going to send something to Oakland. So we'll see later on who he sends there.
Yeah.
You know, and he's not afraid to stay home. You know, at all.
Bassett.
Yeah.
No,
Not afraid to stay home, so the Derby that would be fantastic to have.
And it's something a lot
The
of
Derby.
our viewers may not realize is that these horses, it costs a lot of money to nominate these horses for the Kentucky Derby point races. We call them prep races, but they've got to get those points to qualify in the top 20 to get in the starting gate at Churchill Downs. So a lot of these horses, those owners are paying nomination fees for several races on the same day. So a
Right.
horse like Anodor can say, all right, well, Baffert's
Gotta be
going in here,
nominated
we'll
to
go
2
in
or
there.
3.
Yeah.
He needs to be nominated to 2 or 3 places. Yeah.
So to really be in contention for the Kentucky Derby, it takes a lot of planning, a lot of money, and a
Lots
lot
of
of
luck.
guts.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And luck.
And luck.
Oh gosh. Anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think that's great. It's fun that, like you said, we've got 2 or 3 of the top horses out here,
Yeah.
and to see them develop, and both of these horses just keep getting better, and that's exciting.
Yeah.
Instead of having the brilliant 2-year-old that's, that was so brilliant, but yet he's hanging on.
Yeah.
These 2, they're not hanging on. They're moving forward.
They're moving up.
So it's exciting.
All right. Well, Eddie, thanks again. It was great having your expertise and your opinion here. And thanks to the viewers for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment. Love to hear what you have to say about all this. And good luck at the races.
Come on out.